Hi, I'm Nia. Recently, a follower reached out to me. Nia, I watch hundreds of videos, read charts, search for entry points, and it's all just overwhelming. I don't even know where to start. I get it. I've been there. It's so easy to get lost in all the noise. The solution? You need a simple system that cuts through the clutter and shows you exactly where to focus. Today, I'll walk you through a strategy that does just that using a real-life example. It's helped me, it's helped my followers, and it just might help you too. Let's dive in. Today, you and I are going to analyze situations on the platform, and for successful analysis, first of all, we need to set up the workspace. To do this, I set the time frame to 5 seconds and add the MACD and RSI indicators. I leave the default settings for indicators. Then go to the right side of the screen, set the expiry time to 15 seconds. Let's get to the analysis. First of all, we all see a strong upward movement, which is accompanied by an upward movement in both instruments. But there is a transitional moment which can be seen in these instruments, in connection with which I open a position down and we caught it successfully. We see upward movement of both instruments and on the chart, but there is a reversal at this point. The green line crossed the red line from the top to bottom and fell below zero. The second instrument from the overbought zone started to come into balance, and when it is in the overbought zone, the chart needs correction. In this regard, I opened a position on the corrective downward movement and successfully fixed it. Perfect timing. This is the ideal setup to show how my strategy works. Here's the exact entry point where I made the decision, and here's the result we ended up with. As you can see, this isn't some abstract theory, it's a real tool I use daily in my live sessions with the community. Want to learn how to do the same? Just follow the link on the screen. Moving on, in idiom, an upward movement that ends relying on the indicators. Because of this, I open a position down in the hope that there will be a downward correction and the expiration time. Can you tell what combinations of tools you use to analyze situations on the platform? I'll be interested to read, and maybe I'll use some combination in my videos. Great! The situation worked in our favor. Here we have seen an upward movement on both instruments, and at this point the histogram started to turn red, which means that a small correction is possible. Also, the second instrument has also started to go down as well. Consequently, I opened the position down and successfully closed the position. Not long ago, we broke down a similar situation during one of our sessions, the kind where you're drowning in data and don't know what to do or what to focus on. I identified the entry point, tested the level, and only then took the trade. And by the way, you're welcome to join one of the upcoming sessions. I move on. I see an upward movement that is accompanied by the beginning of a downward movement in both indicators. The instrument was in the overbought zone and needed correction. In this regard, I open a position down and wait for the time of expiration. Great position. We can notice the following. There was an upward movement, but in this area, the chart was in the overbought zone. This indicates a correction, and this was also confirmed by the first indicator, in which the histogram crossed the zero mark and the corrective movement downward began. Two tools pointed this out to us, and due to this, I opened a position down and a perfect result. Let's be real. Once you have a clear system, everything gets easier, right? A lot of my members started out just like this subscriber. No experience, lots of questions, but with a genuine desire to learn. This approach worked today, and honestly, it delivers results every single day for those who follow it. I can only share a glimpse here, but there's a lot more waiting for you. Moving on, we see a strong downward movement. Because of this, I open a position down on the continuation and move and wait for the expiry time. The trade is simple and interesting because in this situation, there is a strong downward movement without any buyers showing up. The line is moving in a narrow channel, which is directed downward, and the tools point to the same thing. It is important to note that the second instrument is not in the oversold condition. It does not need an upward correction. And due to this, a position was opened on the global trend and successfully fixed. I'm moving on. In this situation, we see a sideways movement in which I will open a position down, and let's wait for the result. Awesome. This position has proven to be successful. We have first two pointing to the down position and the second two pointing to the down position along with the chart. The three arguments we had coincided and we successfully closed the deal in our favor. Good job, folks. In the end, it all comes down to this. When you have a clear system, you stop second guessing and start acting. I see it every day in my own trades, in my DMs, and in the results from the community. It's not about knowing everything, it's about knowing where to look and what to do next. And if you want to dig deeper in this method, just message me and I'll help you figure out where to start.